What's some juicy gossip you just found out in your personal lives? That my brother asked my mom for a $1,000 for rent. She gave him $1,400 so he could also pay back a loan. Then he turned around and also asked my dad for $1,000 for rent, which he also gave him. He then turned around and used the money to buy tickets to Burning Man. My parents aren't going to lend out any more money without talking to each other first.
Woke move.
My sister is pregnant with her third child, third guy. The first V is awesome, he has custody of both their child, and her second no biological relationship to him. The second baby daddy has apparently been threatening my sister and V after learning of the third child and that we took her in V and my sister still have a functional platonic relationship at this point, and due to fear of reproach from the second and maybe the third V has taken both kids, my pregnant sister and his own, so with him out of state to make sure there's no reproach from 2 or 3. V is one of my favorite humans. He treats the second child like his own, despite no longer being in a romantic relationship with my sister since 2010. Dude is as good as they come, in my opinion.
It sounds like a guy I drink to.
I just found out my neighbor has been having an affair with another one of my neighbors, and the kids figured it out. I used to see them go jogging sometimes.
Nancy Drew and the Oh No, her parents are fucking.
My ex, after 1 week of being single, started dating this SoundCloud rapper. Now she's pregnant with twins. We're still in our teens.
Do his song slap though?
He is the dollar version of Lil Pump from his music style to even the dreads.
Lil Squirt.
My work requires everyone in our group have security clearance. It's boring work and the most basic of clearances. Wednesday, a co-worker's desk was completely cleaned out. We were told she lost her clearance and was fired. Weird. Her BFF spilled the beans later. Turns out Sharon had met a man online and they were madly in love. And she cashed out her 401k, her life savings, and a second mortgage to send to him. She's 67. To no one's surprise, he's not a real person, and it was all a scam. He claimed he was royalty from Nigeria. Work found out when she started borrowing money from co-workers, and it made its way to our boss. It's very sad, but still, WTF, she was around when the whole Nigerian email scam was around. She should have known better. Ada grammar.
Loneliness will make you do crazy things.
Teach a man to fish and he will always have food. Teach a man to fish and he will become a Nigerian prince. Edit. Thanks strangers first traded gold and silver. Our pastor was having an affair with his cousin's wife. One day while giving a sermon, the cousin storms into church, tackles the pastor, and starts to throw haymakers at him. The cousin's wife is trying to pull her husband off the pastor. The pastor's wife quickly figured out what was happening, ran up and clocked the wife from behind, knocking her out. People are trying to separate everyone. Total chaos.
I gotta start back going to church. Apparently I'm missing all the good stuff.
That my uncle left my auntie for the phone sex line worker he was calling for the last 3 years. This is the saddest story, for some reason. It's just fucking existentially sad.
He'll probably save some money now, so there's that.
1. Cousin's wife finally caught his cheating ass. 3 years he's been playing her for a fool, but she actually knew. She just loves him too much. 2. Heard that the asshole who got me fired got fired because of the email that I sent to the company's VP. Honestly wish I went with filing for a labor case though. 3. Apparently, I'm adopted. Not really sure if the ancestry thing works. I want to find my biological parents. So much stuff is happening. I don't even know anymore, lol.
My turn now, Mike. A year ago my family member 26 discovered that fiancé I 29 of 7 years, who he has 2 children with, had been having an affair with his younger brother, who just turned 18. His brother was living in his house rent-free at the time as well. So his fiancé I left him for his brother and had a fling with him for a couple months. The younger brother is basically homeless now, jumping from friend to crash at their houses, while working at a job that he makes minimum wage at $7.25, while she is still living under her ex-fiancé's roof. She then decided she wanted to work things out with her ex-fiancé, so they got back together and decided to reconcile the relationship, which left the younger brother furious. Shortly after that, she finds out she is pregnant but does not know which brother is the father. Her fiancé said he would raise the baby as his own even if it was not his. So she decides to keep the baby. This makes the younger brother more furious because she aborted the child before this baby that she knew was the younger brother's. So the younger brother verbally attacks her for aborting that child and keeping this one because there is a chance it is her fiancé's. She is unemployed during this time, so her fiancé is paying for all of the expenses. 9 months later, still unemployed. She has the baby and it ends up being the younger brother's child, and they all try to do co-parenting. The baby is 3 months old now and my family member's fiancé I left him for his younger brother again. Edit, thanks for the silver and gold. Edit, I edited the fiancé and fiancé I errors I had in the initial post and added spaces to break up the whole post. After all this, we tried to hang out with him and our other friends at our house to get his mind off the entire situation, and he invited her over. Did not ask us if it was okay or even mention it. She just showed up, knowing damn well everyone at our house does not want her there. He told us that if he is okay with hanging out with her, then we should also be okay with hanging out with her.
Honestly, I've been stuck on this thread all day, and this is clearly the best one. What the fuck? The older brother is a dumbass.
And the younger one is an asshole.
I have a coworker I'll call Jess, who always talks about her kids in detail, and asks for favors because of her kids, i.e. picking up shifts, asking for rides, etc. One of our other co-workers' son goes to the same bar as said girl. She doesn't know who he is, and one night was spilling her guts about how she always takes advantage of her co-workers, and that she doesn't even have kids. She doesn't know that we know. Edit, thank you so much for all the comments, gold, and suggestions. I will definitely update everyone if anything interesting.
Please update when you all bust her for her lies.
It would be a shame if all of her co-workers suddenly had kids and couldn't cover for her anymore.
The unmitigated gall here is impressive.
My 2 friends just found out they have the same sugar daddy. They had both been under the impression that they were exclusive with him.
Man, to be rich enough to sugar daddy for 2 girls at once. Truly the American dream.
I'd like to be rich enough to sugar daddy myself.
Shoot, I'd be fine being a stevia daddy.
Sweet and low on funds. My uncle told my parents that he needed money because he borrowed from the Chinese mafia and they were threatening to kill him and his family, or something. My parents sent him some money, and then 2 weeks later he posted a PIC with a new car. Edit, my uncle said the money he borrowed was to pay off his house. Edit 2, he did not actually borrow from the Chinese mafia. He didn't even get a new house. More clarification, we are Chinese Malaysian. Most of our family lives in Malaysia, while we live in the US people US. You ask us for money BC. My parents started a good business here.
My aunt did something similar a few years back. Long story short, my parents ended up with that new car instead.
I've got time, I'll listen.
My aunt has never been good with her money and gets herself wrapped up in all kinds of MLM schemes. This particular time she told my parents that she found a great and legit employment opportunity, and that it was so good that she wanted to invest in it. 2 weeks later she comes back around and says that she was scammed by the mafia and they gave her drugs to sell instead of shoes, and that she needs to buy her way out so she doesn't have to become a drug dealer. She had all the texts to prove it. Another 2 weeks later and she comes around with a BMW. We still aren't quite sure how she could afford that since my parents didn't really hand her that much in a designer purse. My dad is the most pissed I've ever seen him, takes all of the proof she sent him, and threatens to go to the police with it. She offers to trade the BMW for the old beater car my dad used to teach us to drive in if he doesn't go to the police. Since she was so eager to get rid of the car and for my dad to not go to the police, we're pretty sure she was selling drugs. And I'm pretty sure I still haven't heard the full story from my dad. Today my aunt is selling essential oils and jewelry.